Welcome to TechMark Pod, where we innovate, discuss, and discover the dynamic intersection of technology and marketing. In each episode, we explore how businesses can leverage both to drive growth and innovation. Meet Alvin, our esteemed host for TechMark Pod. With over 15 years of experience as a renowned marketer, project manager, and software as a service architect. Join us as we uncover the unique value proposition of integrating technology and marketing strategies, helping you stay ahead in this fast-paced digital world.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to TechMark Pod. Today, I've got a special guest. Should I call you a special guest? But yeah, my guest is Basheer Phiri. Basheer Phiri is a no-code developer, basically, right? So I met Basheer Phiri on LinkedIn. Basheer was introduced to me by Poppy on LinkedIn. That's the beauty about LinkedIn. Everyone networks around, on LinkedIn, and you get to meet a lot more people on LinkedIn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what intrigued me about Basheer and their expertise was that he's a no-code developer, and he started accounting, right? You started accounting, but you're a no-code developer.
Yep.
I'm a marketer, and I develop websites in WordPress.
Yeah.
And this is like for over 10 years now.
Nice.
I started on a platform called Blogspot.
Okay.
That's like Gmail.
Yeah.
It's a Google, not Gmail. The Google Blogspot platform. So back 10 years ago, let's go 10 years ago, but over a decade ago, the most popular thing that was happening in tech was, your blogs. Everybody had a blog. Social media was not really the thing. Everybody had a blog. All the celebrities were busy writing on their blogs, and we used to follow the blogs. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's when we started our first business, which is a non-profit making organization. We had to create or develop a website on Blogspot. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that website, actually, it looked like a website, but it was a blog.
It was a blog.
So my idea and my concept of coming up with a web design through that no-code era in 10 years ago, that was what I was doing.
Yeah.
You understand? Then fast forward to a couple of years, then I joined the WordPress family, right? Then I started developing in WordPress.
Yeah.
So over the years, I've developed so many websites. And I think one of the milestones that I can talk about was Urengi Marketplace.
Nice. What is that?
So Urengi Marketplace was a farmers marketplace that we built in 2020 during COVID, right?
Okay.
So we were trying to pivot our business when we realized, oh, wait a moment, services is not a thing at the moment. No one wants to buy any service, but we need to solve a problem.
Yeah.
You understand? So we had farmers that were stuck with the produce on the farms. Vegetables were getting bad because they couldn't reach the market. The market was just in their homes. No one was coming out. Do you understand? So we needed to bridge the market, the farm and the market. What you say? The farm and the market, right?
Yeah.
So the only way you could bridge the two was through technology. Do you get it?
Connecting the buyers and the sellers.
Exactly. It was as simple as that, connecting the buyers and the sellers.
Yeah.
And Urengi Marketplace was the right tool to do that.
I see.
Right. We built that using WordPress. So it was a proof of concept.
WordPress.
You understand? It was a proof of concept that we wanted to build in WordPress. And if that concept was working or proved to be working, we then move it to JavaScript.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
But we made sure that WordPress was working for farmers. They could go out there, create an account, be able to upload all their produce, right? They could be able to sell the produce, get their money, make their withdrawals on one platform.
Yeah.
And it was working on WordPress. And it was a mobile app as well.
Oh, nice.
They call them a progressive web app.
Progressive web app.
Yeah, progressive web app, right?
Yeah.
So just because I'm a marketer, I made sure that my progressive web app had notifications like a mobile app.
Yeah.
It had everything, all the bells that you think of. Do you understand?
True.
So to me, that was a milestone. I was trying to make sure that WordPress get to a certain level. Yeah. But then Basheer tells me that no, we're still building with no code, but we are now on another level. You know what I mean? So yeah, Bash. I mean, I'm so excited. You have accepted to join me on TechMark Pod, and I would like you to introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. My name is Basheer. My friends call me Bash, so you can call me Bash.
Yeah.
I, when someone asks me like, what do you do or what are you? I usually have a bunch of options to choose from.
Yeah.
If I don't want to draw the conversation too long, I just say I'm a dev or a developer. People tend to not ask more questions after that. But if I do have time, I say I'm an entrepreneur, because usually the next question is, oh, what are you working on, or what business are you working on? And then I have to still have a bunch of businesses to choose from, because I have different companies that I'm working on, and depending on who I'm talking to, I might mention one or more of them.
Yeah.
But if I have to summarize, I'm a developer, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a marketer, I'm a designer, also an accountant. Not registered, but I did complete my accounting degree at UCT. Graduated in 2022 was my final year.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to summarize, that's what I am. But what I'm most proud of is that I build applications with no code.
Amazing stuff.
Which means without coding. And
Yeah.
I've built for like companies all over the world, South African companies in the UK. A lot of them have been US-based companies. I've built for companies in Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
Dubai, like the UAE. Yeah, it's like just building. I spent a lot of time building, to the point where it affected my academics.
Wow.
I was literally working for like other companies while being a student.
Yeah.
Ended up failing tax and had to extend my degree and repeat it, and then I still failed it and passed the SUP eventually.
Yeah.
But like, that's just how much I was just building and building and building. Almost every day was spent building.
Because you're built differently. That's the thing. You're built differently. You know what I mean? So you might not understand it, but you're built differently. You know? So let's start from where you started. Possibly, I would like to think that not everyone is meant to be where you are and who you are with the expertise that you have. This intelligence that you possess. You understand? When you were young, you used to do gaming, a lot of gaming that you said, right?
Yes.
So we had that conversation before we started recording the episode, because my kids are gamers, and you just kind of confirmed certain things that I have and understood how my boys are thinking and the way they think, whatever they say to me. And yeah, tell me more about it.
Oh, gaming is one of my favorite conversations. I grew up as a gamer.
Yeah.
I started playing games from a very young age. When I was in grade 1, my uncle brought a computer to our house. He told my parents it would be good for us to get adapted to like all these computer things, because he saw where the technology was headed.
He was a visionary.
He was. He still is.
Oh, he's still a visionary, yeah.
And I started playing games from there. My older brother, he used to bring games from his friends, and then we used to play them. We started playing small games like Snow Bros, Super Mario, and then we went on to other games like Need for Speed. The first Need for Speed I played was Need for Speed 2000.
Yeah.
That was like a very old Need for Speed game. And then I played Need for Speed. I basically played almost all Need for Speed games.
Oh, yeah.
I played FIFA. The first FIFA I played was FIFA 06.
I feel like I'm being exposed when you say that was like an old game. And I'm thinking, oh man, I used to play that. But anyway, it's fine.
Yeah. And then, GTA, Vice City, played that. I guess I had progressive parents. They didn't say, hey, why are you playing games where you're killing people?
Yeah.
But played GTA. And the thing about playing games is that you're solving equations. Like, you're doing math in a fun way. You have to beat the game, which means you have to solve some problem. Like, if you're playing a game like FIFA, you need to understand soccer. First of all, you need to understand like the rules of the game. You need to understand the buttons, like this is to pass, this is to shoot. You need to understand the mechanics of the game. And you're looking at many things. You're watching the different players, and you need vision. So you need to see where the players are going, where opportunities can be created.
So you're a strategist, basically.
You're kind of a strategist. And my little sister, she started playing FIFA at a young age, and it was just impressive for me, because she's like in grade 3, grade 4, grade 2, grade 3, and she's like really good at FIFA. And it's like, whoa. As a kid who can comprehend this complex game, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
But other games like Assassin's Creed, very strategic games, there's a lot of puzzles in the game that you need to solve to make it to the next stage. So like, what I would say is that the type of games you play matter. It's not just about playing any game. After a certain age, the effect of playing the game intellectually are not as great. because it's just entertainment now. But when you're very young, growing up, especially primary school, it's really good. Playing games is just like doing math. I would say it's almost the same thing.
Wow.
Doing math, you're solving a problem. You're playing a game, you're solving a problem. And if you can beat the game, it means you've solved many, many problems in the game to make it out and win.
So do you think that made you possibly ahead of the pack? Because if then you were in university and you already started working for companies and building for companies while you are studying at UCT, it means you're already ahead.
Yeah, I would say it helped because I understood computers. And growing up, we used to game so much that the computers used to break because they just can't handle it. They weren't that high end. And well, we didn't have like money to like fix it, like take it to a shop. So we had to like figure it out and like get into the components. So I was able to like understand like the motherboard, the different components on it. Like, oh, once my power supply blew up, and then I learned about how to not overclock your power supply. You can't have too much RAM. You can't have a huge graphics card that's too powerful for the power supply. I learned all these lessons. And those things helped because I understood computers.
Definitely.
I was using Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
I started knowing how to type, so I could type fast.
Yeah.
I knew how to use the internet because I had to download games. So those things helped a lot. And when I got to university, there was this digital literacy course.
Yeah.
And I just didn't take it because I didn't need to.
It was a waste of time. Like, why am I doing this?
I knew everything about
you knew everything
I needed to know.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. So yeah, I think that has built you up to who you are now. Now let's talk about, you're an entrepreneur, right? When did you start your first company?
Good question. So when I was in high school, I wanted to be a chartered accountant. That's where I saw myself. I really loved business and I loved accounting. I enjoyed mathematics, but I enjoyed business as well. So I saw myself in that path. My idea was that I would go to UCT, get my undergrad, do my honors, I used to like KPMG at the time. That accounting firm I just loved KPMG, loved the colors. So I thought I would sign with KPMG.
No, it was the in thing by then, but yeah.
Sign with KPMG, do my articles, become a chartered accountant, work for some corporate for 5-10 years. And one day I'll start a business with all the knowledge that I've gained in that time. Getting to first year, after a week, I was already working on my first company.
Wow.
That's how it happened. And my first company was called Infinity Gaming. I was a gamer, so my first company was in gaming.
It was influenced by gaming.
Because
basically.
I was a gamer, I knew how to get games like on the internet, how to download games.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I figured, hey, I could actually launch a company to have like gaming competitions where people would pay an entry fee, they'd play games, and the winners, like group stages, the winner would get a prize. And that's how I would make the revenue. And obviously the prize would be less than the revenue, so I'd make a profit out of that. So that was the first company I worked on. Gosh, made many mistakes. Like my team, 13 people. My
18
first
people.
Team, 13 people.
Wow.
And I was so excited. I had this team of 13 people, really intelligent people. Right now, I can show you all.
So you recruited this team from college?
From my first year colleagues.
Yeah.
And my classmates. And they were all really intelligent people. And I was like, I need this person on my team. Yeah. So I created like these 13 titles, head of this, head of that, chief of this, chief of that. And I gave them. And I used to have a lot of meetings with them to brainstorm and do things. Made a lot of mistakes, but I learned a lot from that experience. I learned how to do websites because I needed a website. So I learned WordPress and I learned Webflow. For some reason, I thought that to launch, I need like a great demo video.
Yeah.
So I learned how to use Adobe After Effects so I could make like demo videos. I learned how to graphic design on Adobe Illustrator. Canva wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot of things from
self-taught.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. I think that really differentiates yourself from the rest. Being self-taught, it's probably a skill. I don't know. I think because not everybody can teach themselves.
Yeah, I think having used the internet for so long.
Yeah.
I knew that whatever skill I want to learn, I can get it on YouTube.
Yeah.
I just have to go to YouTube and search how to X, and then there'll be like so many videos explaining that. And I had used a lot of like different tools growing up, so I wasn't intimidated by getting into Adobe After Effects. Like it looks very scary,
Yeah.
but you just watch the video and you follow the instructions, and you can do
You're done.
anything, right? You
You're
just
done.
have to follow the instructions, and you can learn any tool that you need.
It reminds me of how I even designed my logo for our first company, one of our companies, TNG Solutions. I designed that
Nice.
logo,
Nice.
self-taught.
Nice.
You know, and that logo still exists right now. It's one that we're using at the moment, designed by an amateur, which is me, self-taught. You know what I mean? So Infinity, you're 13 people. What happened to 13? It dissolved. What happened?
Fear of failure, man. I just couldn't bring myself to launch it because I was afraid that no idea is not good enough. People are not going to be interested in it. You know, people are going to laugh. I'm wasting my time. So I just wanted to make everything perfect.
Yeah.
I just, there were times where I was like, oh, I love this. And then other times I was like, wasting my time. This is not going to work out. So I spent a whole couple of months working on this company. I just kept adding and adding and adding to it, thinking people won't be interested unless there's incentives. Then I started adding a lot of different things. And in the end, I rebuilt the website like 3 times because I thought it needs to be better. It can be better. It can be better.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, when I was like ready, I was like, okay, it's time to launch. Then my laptop got stolen from university with all my work. Like I hadn't backed up anything. So everything that I had worked on was like gone, all my assets, all the videos, all the stuff. And I was like very demotivated. And I was like, oh, that sucks. I just took a break from entrepreneurship for like a week. I know it sounds like
only for a week.
Yes. Because
I thought you were gonna say for 2 years. Only for a week, then you're back.
Yeah, I mean, on the way back from the police station, that's when the second idea came.
You're very
and I
funny.
worked on that. That was the first app. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This was a tech one. Yeah.
Is it? So what was the second business after that?
Second business was called Zestify. It was called Zestify.
Yeah.
It was meant to be like an e-commerce business, but for local businesses. So it's like Amazon, but for local businesses in your area.
Yeah.
You could shop for anything, and someone from like the shop down the road, you can shop from that shop.
Yeah.
And then we'd get it delivered to you. That was the idea.
So you're using your local community. That's like in Weinberg.
Yeah, Weinberg, Mowbray, Rondebosch, businesses in that area. Again, that one never launched for the same reasons.
Yeah.
Fear of failure, it's not good enough. But I built my first app with it, so I did learn a lot from it.
Yeah.
All these failures had benefits because I learned a lot from them.
I think so. You know, I think as humans we shouldn't fear to fail. You understand? Failure builds us to be better people. You know, I'm just gonna refer back to my case, right?
Yeah.
When Urengi failed, we understood that we couldn't fit in the market.
Yeah.
By that time, COVID accelerated technology, right?
True.
We now had Checker 6060.
Yeah.
We now had Uber now delivering groceries.
Yeah.
And what were we offering? We're offering a marketplace for farmers, but was the market ready for a niche market?
Sure.
Or they wanted somewhere where they could just do the whole grocery end to end and then buy the vegetables at the same time?
Yeah.
You understand?
Sure.
So we probably overlooked that, but not overlooked because, I mean, the big guys came into the play. And unfortunately for us, we couldn't survive.
Yeah.
Our strategy was not working by then, you know? But we learned something, you know?
That's true. You learn from your failures.
We learn from our failures. And you can go on. You said now we're on second company, third one. Yeah.
So I mean, that's right. So I remember my mentor. I spoke to my mentor, but I was a bit nervous to tell her about the idea because again, fear of failure, fear. I tell her about the idea, and I'm like, oh, this is what I want to do. But then she looked me straight in the eye and she said, "You're wasting your time. This is gonna fail." She's like that. She always tells it as it is.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm gonna try it anyway, and see for myself.
Okay.
So I still went ahead with it, and I built the app and never launched it. I was just afraid. But I started building other apps because I didn't want to launch it. I thought it's not good enough. I started exploring other ideas, and I ended up building like 4 more apps. One for like events. I built one like a social network.
Yeah.
One was like connecting people who are interested in fitness to people who, connecting people who are interested in fitness into like groups or communities where they can jog together, and, like work out together. And the other one was a food delivery one. And I liked that one. I thought it was like an immediate problem. So with this one, I call it Justified Deliveries. Because it's like, I put it under the same like brand because I didn't want to buy a new domain, you know, money is tight. So at university, the queues at the cafeteria get really long. And I remember like once I was like, gosh, this queue is so long. I wish someone should just build this app where I can order like on Uber Eats, you know? We should build this app. And I just kept saying that a lot. And then one day I was like, why don't I just build it, you know? So I went to my co-founders. This time it's 5. First startup was 13.
13, now
this time it's 5. Still a lot, but we've come a long way. So I go to my 4 other co-founders and I say, guys, let's do food delivery for campus. And I pitched the idea and they're like, okay, let's do it. So I went to the vendors, like the food vendors on campus. Started selling the idea to them, and they're like, oh, we don't care about these things. Someone already came to offer such a thing to us and we're not interested. And I was like, yeah, but this is better. And then I sold them the idea and they were like, okay, let's do it. So I got them to sign up. I got them to add their products to the app. Then I launched this one. You launched Eventually launched it. Started getting orders. Myself and my team used to deliver to these students on campus. And usually we'd get orders from upper campus. But sometimes we get an order from lower campus, which is like you need to get on the bus to go there. It's like a 5-minute drive. And it's like, oh, someone ordered from lower campus. One of us has to go. So one of us would buy the thing, take it to them to lower campus and deliver it to them. It was quite a unique thing to have at university. Unfortunately, it had to shut down because of COVID. It only ran for 2 weeks until university had to shut down for COVID. So everyone went home. That's what killed the idea.
The funny part about COVID, I think a lot of people thought COVID accelerated a lot of technology. But in actual fact, it actually shut down some technologies.
It shut down some.
You know, it depends. I think it depends on which stage were you with the technology. Just like Oreng, you were one of the casualties, you know, and yours was a casualty as well. But then you pivoted from there after COVID. What happened after COVID?
So after COVID, I had this food delivery app that was not doing anything. And someone contacted me. It started with one person contacted me and was like, hey, I heard you built a food delivery app at university. I want to offer food delivery to my community. Can I use your app? I didn't take it. I was like, oh, someone wants to use the app. I didn't take it seriously. I got a message from someone else saying they would like to use the app. And I was like, wait a minute. Could there be more people who need food delivery in their community? Maybe there's a business here. So what I did was I worked with the first person who came to me. I started from scratch. I rebuilt it. I didn't continue with the existing system. I rebuilt a new food delivery app from scratch. This time I went even further. I had a driver side, I had a restaurant side, I had a customer side.
Amazing stuff.
And I had an admin side. And then I white labeled the whole thing. So anyone could basically come in, type the name of the app, upload the logo and the icon, select their colors, click a button, and they'll get a unique link to their food delivery app. They get a link for the customer app, the driver app, the restaurant app, and the admin app. So basically they can approach restaurants and say, hey, we have this app, give them the restaurant app link, and they can sign up under their app. And same for drivers, same for customers. And
so quick question. Is this no code?
Yes, all no code. I built it with no code.
Okay, that's interesting.
And launched that first in June. Like the 1st of June was the official launch date, and we had one business that was running off of it. It was in Limpopo. It was called Kasi Riders. And started expanding to other businesses, other entrepreneurs in different communities who also wanted like to launch a food delivery app in their community. This one ultimately failed because food delivery is a very complicated business, especially logistics. That's the most difficult part. I mean, it's hard enough getting restaurants interested and getting customers in the app and then getting drivers. Dealing with so many parties. And you need a perfect ratio. You need enough customers placing orders for drivers to make money, for restaurants to actually be interested in joining
for you to make money.
It's a 3-sided marketplace. Very complicated. Amazon is not Amazon. Like other marketplaces are 2-sided. It's just the buyers and the sellers. But this is the buyers, the sellers, and the logistics, the delivery people.
Yeah.
So it's like it was a very difficult business, and basically all the customers that we got either couldn't launch, couldn't get drivers, couldn't get restaurants, or even if they did, they couldn't handle the logistics.
Oh.
And it's either we offered our own logistics.
I think that's where funding comes into play.
Yeah. But I didn't want to go to the funding approach. I wanted something concrete that was working and scalable before I got funding. And I wanted to do it with the resources that I had. Technically, I could have tried to raise capital, and with the capital, I would have had some breathing room and runway to do things. But I didn't want to take money and put it into something that I had not yet validated with a high degree of certainty. That's why I've never raised capital for that reason. I've always self-funded everything.
That's the thing. I mean, we've bootstrapped all our business, yeah. Nothing has been, it's self-funded basically. It's crazy, man. I love your story. And then from there, I understand you failed your accounting degree because you're now getting a lot of work. Yeah. So what happened? You now, I understand you worked for an American company at one point for 1.5 years. Remotely.
Yeah. So I explain how we got to that point. So I'm going to summarize the next couple of years. So this food delivery app, like I did a lot with it. I joined a lot of pitching competitions. I pitched in Johannesburg at Africa Arena. I pitched in Cape Town. I was doing a lot with it. And I started networking more actively on LinkedIn.
Is it the time when you're now doing the hackathons?
Yeah, because that's around the time when I'm doing the hackathons.
let's then highlight. You won hackathons.
Yes.
I mean, this is a self-taught developer, no-code developer, and you're winning hackathons. Yes. Tell me about it.
The first hackathon I ever did was one at the World Economic Forum in Cape Town. ABSA was the main sponsor of that hackathon. And we had to get into teams of 4. We actually randomly allocated teams of 4. And there were like, I think 8 teams. And we had like 8 hours. And in that time, we had to build a concept for sustainable energy. Like I ideate something and prepare a presentation and pitch the idea of what we wanted to build. And there was a panel of judges who would then decide like the top 3 teams. My team was like the youngest, so we were the underdogs. 2 of us were university students. The oldest person we had was like 25, 26. At the time, I was 21. And my other friend, he was like 23. So everyone else was like experts. They were like people in banking, people in like insurance, people in like high in tech. And we were so intimidated, like, gosh, like, look at these executives and look at us. Like, what are we going to do, right? But we started ideating and we just started throwing a lot of ideas together and we came up with a solution. And I was still very scared to pitch. I was very nervous. I was like, guys, I'm not pitching. You guys can go and pitch. I'm just going to support you guys. But they forced me to say something, so I had to say something. But we weren't sure about, like, we didn't think anything was going to come out of it. We were very insecure. We had a lot of imposter syndrome, like, we shouldn't be here. Look at all these experts and look at us, right? But either way, we gave it our best. We ideated, we came up with a solution, and we pitched the solution. And we started hearing the other solutions, and we were like, we actually have something good. And we pitched like 3rd or 4th. And I started becoming more confident with the idea as we started talking about it. And the judges really liked it. And we ended up winning 1st place.
Wow. No, man, that's amazing stuff. Yeah.
Thank you. So in this hackathon, it was an ideation hackathon. We didn't build anything. It was more ideation.
But the fact that it was an idea that won a hackathon, that's quite interesting. You understand? Yeah.
And it built my confidence. And I was like, hey, one of the...
because you were pitching.
One of the guys that I was with, like in the team, I was like, hey, dude, are there any other hackathons we can do? He's like, yeah, let's do it. And he was part of the UCC Developer Society. And there was an upcoming hackathon hosted by Discovery. It was like a full day hackathon. It was a weekend, 2 days. So you have 2 days to build something. So I got together with him. We found like another guy and we joined this hackathon. And we had to choose from a bunch of different problems, a problem to solve and build a solution. And we chose campus safety as the problem. And when it came time to choose a tech stack, these guys were coders. it was a developer society hackathon. So
Yeah.
this guy's like, oh, let's use a MERN stack, mean express React. The guy's like, no, let's actually build something with Next.js.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, I don't code. But hear me out. Let's build something with Bubble.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is Bubble? Like, oh, it's a no-code tool that I've been using to build apps. And
They were like, oh, drag and
they
drop.
were like, dude, drag and drop. Don't waste our time with such things. We need like proper serious technologies. I'm like, no, like it's proper. Let me show you what I've built. And then I show them the app I built, and they're like, you built this with no code? I'm like, yeah. They're like, how long did it take you? 3 months. But that's because I was starting out. I can do it in a month now. And they're like, what? Let's try it out. I was like, okay, cool. So I just showed them how to use
I'm
Bubble.
sorry, but developers, they sound rigid most of the times. When we talk about our no code expertise, they'll be like, drag and drop, like they think maybe we are playing or something like that. But no, we're not playing. We mean business. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. No code was drag and drop back in the day.
Yeah.
It's like you couldn't build proper stuff. But
Yeah.
now no code has come a really long way. You can build really cool stuff with no code.
Wow.
So yeah, we literally built the entire app in like 3 hours. And once we were done, one of my friends brought his PS4, sorry, and we started playing FIFA. And then the judges are walking around like, not the judges, the mentors.
Yeah.
They're walking around and they looked at us and like, hey guys, when are you going to start working on your thing?
Look, we're
And
done.
we're like, oh, we're done. They're like, you done? Like, yeah. Can we see it? Oh, we'll show you tomorrow. The next day, time to present. Everyone's presenting their ideas and we presented ours.
Yeah.
And we won second place.
Wow.
And we did it in 3 hours. If we spent more time, we could have built a whole full, like, so many features. Would have blown the park in first place.
Interesting.
But it was all good. Won second place.
Wow.
And that was a big moment for me because I went toe to toe with the coders and I would say came out on top. And
Wow.
it built my confidence up that I'm actually a developer. I can actually build stuff because I was building things that my colleagues that are doing computer science couldn't.
They couldn't.
They
yeah.
couldn't.
They
because
can't.
They didn't have enough. But I could build like really major applications. So that built my confidence. I could start saying, I'm a developer.
Yeah.
Because before I couldn't say that. I was like, oh, I feel like I'm cheating the system. I had that imposter syndrome.
Wow, that's interesting. And then from there, I need to know the full journey. We're
Full
getting
journey.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm doing some hackathons on the side, but I'm still working on my businesses. So after the food delivery thing didn't work out,
Yeah.
I call it Bureau, I actually started an agency. I tried to
It's a dev something, right? It's a dev what?
No, it was called No Code Labs.
No code labs.
But it didn't go anywhere.
Oh,
the only
okay.
thing I did was I built 4 plugins on Bubble, one for PayFast. Like, I just built some plugins. I didn't get any customers out of it, and I shut it down. I went to my long-time co-founder and best friend Hopewell, and I was like, dude, like, look at our bank accounts. We are developers. We can build almost any app, but we broke.
Yeah.
Like, we've been trying the startups thing, and we haven't made a cent out of it. I've been burning my allowance, paying for like hosting. I used to get $250 a month from like my allowance at university, and the Bubble hosting was 230 Rand a month. So like my allowance used to go towards hosting. Like, dude, we have all these skills. We can make videos, we can do marketing, we can like make logos, we can do websites, we can do apps. We should offer the service to people. Like, we should really look at how we can make money from the skills we have. And we just listed out all our skills, and building apps was like what stood out. We're really good at that. So we said, hey, let's start building apps for other people. So that's what we did. We went to Upwork. I created an account on Upwork, applied for a couple of jobs, and I got my first job at the right time.
Yeah.
So I told you I failed 2022. 2021 was meant to be my final year. And I was offered a post-grad accommodation because I applied for post-grad for 2022.
Yeah.
So I was offered a post-grad accommodation. But when the results came out, I failed tax. And I failed so bad, it wasn't even a sub failure. Like, I couldn't do the sub. I had to repeat.
Yeah.
So UCT revoked my res offer. And that was like a week before I had to go to university. And I was like, what am I going to do now? Like, And the same day I got the email to say my res offer was revoked, I got the offer letter from the client on Upwork to say, hey, let's work on this. And the client was paying $500 a week. Wow. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Because at the time with the exchange rate, it was like 7.5, 8,000.
That's a lot.
So I worked on it for a week, got paid, bought my ticket, got to Cape Town, and I stayed with my mentor for like 2 weeks. And in that time, I got paid more. And then I got a place, paid the deposit. I managed to negotiate like a half deposit, pay for the deposit. And then I had a place, at least like my accommodation was kind of sorted and I could work my way. But yeah, I did this project, did a couple more projects for this one guy, but we had a falling out. And then we had a falling out because the payments stopped. Like it wasn't like before it was guaranteed every week I would get the amount. But then before there were excuses and I had bills to pay. So we had a falling out.
Yeah.
Then I got on another project. Big mistake. Yeah. This project was a real estate project from Brazil.
Yeah.
I saw the price tag. It was $1,500. And I was like, whoa, $1,500. That's like, I don't know.
That's a good one.
It was like 35,000 Rand. I was like, oh, that's cool. I was used to getting like 250 a month. And now, now this project is paying 32,000. I was like, I'll take it. I didn't even look at the design. I'm very charismatic. So when I met the client, I sold my skill. I was like, oh, I built, I can do this. I'm really good. I mean, I am good, but I really oversold and I really didn't look at what was required that well. I looked at it briefly, the Figma file. I was like, oh, not too bad. Got on the project. I actually saw the Figma file. It was huge. It was a big application. And the timeline was a month. And I was like, I don't know if this will be possible here. I started. And very soon it was clear that I'm not going to make it. And I got two of my other developer friends to help. And I had to split the money with them. And like we didn't finish on time. Like I was supposed to be getting $250 a week. But now I had to split it with my two colleagues. So like I was getting like $20, $30 a week. It was rough. Like at some point I was running out of electricity and I had to like really conserve. And I didn't want to leave the project. I had to like see it through to the end. Eventually managed to complete it and close the project, get a great review from the client. And I was able to get the next project, which financially helped again, pick me up again. Yeah. But after that, I joined this company called We Love No Code. They were a marketplace that connected no-code developers to clients. Upwork is a general marketplace, but We Love No Code was specific for no-code developers. I did the application form, I completed the tests, and I got accepted. And the first client I got was in logistics. This one I eventually ended up working for. First client I got was in logistics. Really loved what the company was doing. They were doing like $800,000 a year on a manual system, and they wanted to build a TMS, a transport management system, to run the business. So I got on that. And then there was another project from Saudi Arabia. This was in construction.
So you've actually assisted companies with digital transformation using no code, basically.
Yeah, essentially. The second company was in Saudi Arabia. They wanted to build a construction procurement platform that was an end-to-end for construction. So from design to building. Essentially, manufacturers can upload 3D designs of what they manufacture. Like if I make this table, upload a 3D design. Designers can download the 3D design and use it in their software when they're designing the buildings. So I'll download windows from this company, download the door from this company, download the furniture from this company, the assets, and put the building together, upload it back into the system, and then based on that, get the code. What's the cost of the building going to be based on all the materials that were used from the different manufacturers, and then automate the procurement process where you can send bill of
quantities,
quotation,
BOQs,
get the BOQ and bill of materials, and eventually contractors can come in, make the invoices, send the invoices, place the orders, track the shipping. So I built that for the company in Saudi, and these are concurrent. Like the thing about no code is you can build a lot.
The concurrent projects.
So I'm doing the logistic thing, I'm doing the construction thing, and then I get another project. This is a marketplace connecting students to corporate internships. So I joined that as well, and I'm building. This is the third thing that I'm building. And then there's a fourth one. This was an Israeli company that was building an app to help founders like build a pitch decks and connect with designers who can design the pitch deck based on the idea. So I'm building these four things at once. No wonder I failed. Building these four things at once.
You had 4 projects. You're running a company.
I mean, I hardly had free time. Like literally morning to night, I'm at the office. We had an office. I'm at an office. I'm at the office, and I'm just building. Meet this client, build. And at some point, I was like burned out. And I basically stepped down from 2 of the projects And I took a pause on one of them. I took a pause on the construction, and I stepped down on the other two, and I just kept the logistics one because that was like my biggest passion. I just needed to focus. Final exams were coming, and I knew tax was going to be a problem. I still failed, but I managed to pass the sub.
Yeah.
And that was done. That was my degree. I was done. I was like, thank God, I've graduated. Great.
Yeah.
Now I can do whatever, I can get into this full time. That was the point I decided that I'm not going to pursue accounting. I was enjoying building applications for companies, and I was like, this is what I want to do. So that's.
Then you now have a no-code company. No-code. It's called what? No-code
business system.
No business systems.
Yeah. It was called No Code Africa.
Yeah.
Rebranded to No Code Business Systems because there's like 2 other No Code Africas in Nigeria, and I didn't want to do an SEO fight for rankings. So I just changed the name. Yeah.
So here at TechMarkPod, right? Our target audience is basically your SMEs, your small to medium enterprise businesses. Of course, maybe later on we'll get to the enterprises that would want our services. But I mean, with no code solutions, we can solve any issue within a business, right? In the journey of a digital transformation.
I mean, you can build, like, I just mentioned all these complex technologies are built.
Yeah.
These are the logistics thing. It's used by a company that's doing $800,000 a year. That's basically like 14 million rand a year.
Can you self-host no code, or you can only host on Bubble?
Depends on what no code platform you're building on. Bubble, you can't self-host. You have to host with Bubble. But there are other no code platforms that you can self-host with. It just depends on what you're looking for.
Because now it depends on data. You remember, there's data issues. Many companies will want to retain their data, protect their data into their own server rooms or whichever way.
That. You can integrate Bubble with your SQL database, wherever it is. You can self-host. And Bubble is just where the backend, like the logic and the design sits, but the data is elsewhere.
Also, it's using MySQL.
Yeah, you can use SQL. Like,
can you use MongoDB and all that stuff?
Yeah, you can connect your own MongoDB to it. It's not the traditional way of doing it with Bubble, because most people who come to Bubble are people who are not coders. So they usually just use Bubble's built-in database, and it's good enough. But some people already have existing systems elsewhere. Like they have other database instances hosted elsewhere, and they want to tap into that data. So you can connect that to your app. So if you have data sitting somewhere, you can pull that into your app through API calls and populate your application with the data. You can read and write to that database from Bubble.
I think what's important for clients is they want to solve, they want a solution. They don't really care about the tech stack. You know what I mean? But from a tech person, I want to ask you a question. Cool. WordPress, Webflow, Bubble. Tell me the differences.
Okay. If you want a website, quick, WordPress, like there's thousands of templates. Literally, if you don't even have to pay for it. You don't have to pay for the templates. You can get free templates, but if you want to be fancy, you can pay for the templates. If you have the budget, you can pay for the templates. Literally, Envato Elements, you subscribe to it, and you can download as many themes as you want.
Yeah.
Download the theme, done. Change the information with Elementor or whatever, and you have a website. Very quick. If you want more control over what the website looks like if you want full granular control over the website, Webflow is my favorite for building websites. It's very powerful. You can build from the ground up, and you can build very beautiful websites. There's also templates on
Webflow. On Webflow, do you host on Webflow? Can you self-host?
You host on Webflow.
You host on Webflow. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But Webflow is really powerful. You can build amazing sites on Webflow. You have more control over the website as to WordPress. Of course, WordPress, you have Elementor, so you can move elements around and stuff, but Webflow is full control. Bubble, I would not recommend building a website on Bubble. Bubble is more for web applications. Yeah. So it's built around web applications. So if you try to build a website on Bubble, you don't have it's not the correct platform for that. You'd rather go to WordPress or Wix or Webflow. Bubble, you build web applications. If you want to build an app, a web app, a mobile app, you go to Bubble. Building an Uber, you're building an Uber Eats, you're building a Facebook, a social network. Yeah. You're building marketplace, connecting X to Y. Bubble is a place to go for that. And, there's the only limitations to what you can build on Bubble is you can't build end-to-end banking systems. So like what facilitates the actual transfer of money from account to account, you can't build that. But you can build a banking app, like the app where people can see how much money they have. They can initiate the transfer from the app, but that will link to another technology that handles the actual transfer of funds. You also you can't directly build HIPAA compliant applications, so anything that stores medical records, diagnoses, prescriptions. You can't have that data on Bubble. You have to have the data elsewhere. So you can have the data elsewhere. You can still build a system on Bubble, but the data will be elsewhere. Yeah.
Okay.
So those are like limitations, but I've built like really complicated technologies.
Wow.
And
which one is the most complicated that you've built?
Oh, there's so many contenders.
Yeah.
The logistics one is really cool. If I can explain how it works, is that like, so in the US, right? It was a solution for the US. So most of the trucks on the road are not full.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of wasted space in the truck. And obviously, you know, with climate change, trucks have these emissions, right? And if the truck is not full, it means we're wasting space and we're polluting the environment with less movement, with less goods moving. Whether the truck is full or truck is empty, the pollution is still happening. So this company was trying to help trucks or help companies that have trucks to fill the unused space on the truck.
Okay.
And it was like, if the truck has a starting point and a destination, it was connecting those trucks with shipments that they can pick up and deliver along the way to the final destination. And use that unutilized space in the truck. It was a last in, first out approach. So if I'm going from Johannesburg to Cape Town, my truck is not full. There might be something I can pick up
in Bloom,
drop it off in Durban, and pick up something from Durban, drop it off in Port Elizabeth, and then finally get to Cape Town, instead of just going straight to Cape Town with that unused space. So that's what I built. And I'm very proud of this because the client also didn't know how this could be done. He just had the idea, this is what I want to do, but he didn't have a solution. How do we actually connect trucks with unutilized space to shipments they can pick up and deliver along the way? How do you actually solve that problem? How do you solve that problem? Like, how do you do that? How do you decide which shipments to show them? So I solved that problem. It was a very custom solution. I divided the US into different regions.
Did you use Bubble?
I used Bubble. Yeah.
Okay, amazing stuff.
Yeah, me, I won't get into the solution. I'm very proud of it. And it worked. And he was blown away. He was like, "How did you do this?"
So basically, you're a full stack developer.
Full stack
developer with a cherry on top of marketing and design.
Yes.
Amazing stuff. Amazing. Yeah.
That's my proudest. But there's so many others.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. No. I hear you. So currently, you are now running the no-code business systems, which is the company that you provide services for no-code services. Am I right?
Yeah.
So if then people want to reach out to you, I'm sure you right now you are full-time now in business, if I understand very well. I know you have your LinkedIn webinars that you do every week or something like that.
Yeah.
So before you tell me about how people can get hold of you, let's talk about the webinars, because you need people to come to the webinars. Yes. You are preaching gospel there on LinkedIn. What is it you're talking about on LinkedIn?
So like I have this thing called No Code Mondays, where on a Monday, I will showcase something I built with no code. But the catch is I built it on the Sunday. So I have like less than 24 hours to build something and to show it off on Monday.
Wow.
And I live stream the start of it on Sunday. So from 11 to 1 p.m. every Sunday, I start the work and I live stream the process. And then I spend the rest of the day building it out. And then on Monday, I show it to the world. The idea is to showcase the power of no code. Firstly, the speed at which you can build applications and the complexity of the applications you can build with no code. In the first week, I built a ride-hailing app like Uber.
Yes, I checked it out actually.
I built like you can basically select your starting point, your destination, be connected to a driver, see the map, see the route on the map, and that kind of functionality. And all it needed was being able to sign up and log in, being able to do payments, and being able to track the trip, which are not complicated things to build. You could build those things very quickly. People don't know about the power of no code. Businesses don't know about no code, and it's a shame because no code is cheaper and it's faster. And if there's
It is
anything that
faster.
businesses need, is cost control and efficiency.
Yes.
And
I
that's
think
why,
I think as we go along, you'll see that business they need agility. You can't then do business like you used to do 10 years ago and expect a different result. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So like in America, no code is like big. A lot of businesses are adopting no code to build their products, because before no code, they had to pay for like these off-the-shelf solutions. Like they're using Soho here, they're using they're using HubSpot here, they're using Monday.com here. They're using these different tools to run the business.
Yeah.
Salesforce is a big one, and they can't adapt. These tools are being used by thousands or tens of thousands of other companies. So
they can't be
very
customized.
specific. They can't be very custom to the business. So the business adapts its processes to the technology that it has available. But now you can build technology based on your own processes. How do you do recruitment? Oh, we usually get the people to apply, and then we call them. After we call them, we put them in a category. And after we do that, we then have group interviews. Okay, so why don't you build technology around that process?
Wow.
Because if you build technology around that process, you can have a very efficient recruitment process that works for you. And you can actually interpret and analyze how your recruitment is performing based on it. And if you decide one day that, hey, I actually want to change this process, I want to introduce new stages, I want to eliminate some stages, the technology will adapt to that, which is very hard to do when you use off-the-shelf systems.
Yeah,
because you're
definitely
stuck to using something that was designed for a general use case and not a specialized use case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like at no-code business systems, we want to build very custom software for businesses based on their own custom processes.
Mm-hmm.
And, businesses can either build like full end-to-end system for all their processes into one centralized system, or they can start with one process and say, this is how we're doing it. Let's build a system to run this. Like the recruitment example I gave. This is how we're doing our recruitment. Let's build a system for recruitment.
Yeah.
And we build a system for recruitment, build the analytics side, and they can run that system and see how it's working for them.
I get you.
Yeah, so we build system for businesses, very customized.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. It's an eye opener for me. I might fully join you to no code because already I've been doing no code, but I'm actually motivated to do more because I'm looking at the clients that I meet on a daily basis. They have problems within their businesses, and they look for certain technologies that can solve those pain points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you're doing. You know, how do people reach you?
They can reach me on LinkedIn. My name, Basheer Phiri, that's my LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
The website, nocodebusinesssystems.com. It has my phone number, my email address on it. They can also book a call through the website as well.
Yeah.
So I'm very approachable from all social media. I have my name is the profile name. I have a Facebook account, Instagram account, Twitter account, which is X now.
Yeah.
So they can reach me through either of those platforms. Yeah.
Oh. Basheer. Oh, Bash. Now I'm going to call you Bash, right? Bash, thank you very much for coming through the podcast. No, but wait. Before I leave, I'm cutting this short. We need to talk about something. You mentioned AI agents. Yes, that's my very interesting topic.
Yes.
Because of late I've been thinking about AI agents because I've noticed that within our business we have repetitive tasks that I think we can automate using AI agents, and I don't need my team to keep on doing that because I see it's wasting time. We could have been doing something better, you know. Let's talk about the AI agents.
All right. So it started out with a live stream last Sunday. I built like a AI voice agent for real estate, essentially helping. I built two models, two agents. One agent, you call it if you want to like rent an apartment. You look for an apartment to rent, so you call it, you chat with it, it tells you the options available. It's like talking to an agent from a company, and then you can book scheduled viewings and stuff. The other one is for people who want to buy and sell houses. So when I built this agent, I started researching AI agents in South Africa.
Yeah.
And AI voice agents to see which other companies are doing it.
Yeah.
and the space is like dry. There's hardly anyone.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, there's no one who's doing AI agents. Plus, my agents like have South African accents, and I can train them to speak with someone like someone's voice. I can get it to use your voice, your accent.
Yeah.
So no one is like hardly anyone is doing that in South Africa. And I think the problem with agents in the past is that they had either they sound like AI, and they have an American accent or a British accent.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a South African accent. So if you call a South African customer,
So we can localize it.
We can localize it.
I think maybe I don't know if they're using AI agents, but they should have some bots that answer the phones, but not really the AI agents. Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw, hey, there's an opportunity here. Immediately registered a company, worked on the website. It's almost done. The company is called South African Voice Agents, or SAVA for short.
Really?
And
Yeah.
our first agents that we're building are for real estate. We have our first models almost ready. I can get one to call you.
Yeah.
You can test it out.
That's interesting.
I programmed it to use my voice and my accent, so it speaks kind of like me, and it's very intelligent. It's able to understand what you're saying, and it can take actions based on that.
Let's test it after this recording. We could have tested it, but let's do it after the recording. That's cool. Yeah.
And on Sundays, tomorrow's live stream, I'll be up building on top of the voice agent.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it agentic capability. So I'll enable it to be able to like send you a WhatsApp message with like a payment link based on our chat, with like a booking or reservation, with like a
jobs are
catalog.
Gone. You're like, killing the jobs.
If you say, hey, I would like to, let's say we're in the real estate example, and you're like, hey, I'm looking for an apartment in Sandton, and then it'll say, oh, can I actually send you a few examples? What are you looking for? Oh, I'm looking for a 2-bedroom loft, furnished, something around Sandton Central. And then the agent will send them a WhatsApp message with a catalog of some properties that meet them. Like, hey, take a look at these. Do you like any of them? Let me know which one you like. And then the person can look at them and say, oh, I actually like the Eden. It looks pretty cool. Like, okay, so the Eden goes for about 7.5, unfurnished. If you want a 2-bedroom loft, you'd need to pay 13. The deposit might be, would you like to schedule a viewing? Yes, please. Or what time would you like to view? Let's do it Thursday. Oh, unfortunately, the time is not available, but we can do this time. Does that work for you? Yes, it does. I've just sent you, or can you please send me your email address so that I could confirm the viewing? And the person says their email, it confirms it, sends them the email, booking a viewing confirmed.
Interesting.
If anything happens on the call, we can even transfer the call to an actual person who can continue the conversation. So if the person says, hey, can I actually speak to someone? Or even the AI picks up that it's unable to handle the request, it will say, oh, can I actually transfer you to Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so who can give you more details on that? And then it transfers the call to the human being who will continue the conversation.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'll be building that in the live stream tomorrow.
Definitely.
And that's the model I'll be debuting with Sava. The first model will be for real estate. Yeah.
That's interesting. I think we need to get into the AI agents, building of AI agents. So I've been thinking about it for the longest time.
Yeah.
With all this AI madness that's going on, I've been thinking, wait, I need to build an AI agent. But of course, I want to start implementing it within the company. And then maybe when I have the proof of concept, I'll take it out to, sell it to the companies or introduce to our clients or whatever it is. But Bash, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. I've learned a lot, and you're doing amazing work. You know what I mean? So you have any parting words?
Yes. I like to say thank you for having me. It's been a while since I've told the story to people, so it's nice to reminisce the journey of where I've come from and what I'm doing right now. It's great, and I think you should look into no code. It'll really
definitely
be beneficial for you. We're in the AI age. Things are advancing very rapidly, and the possibilities are now limitless. So you should look into it.
Definitely, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. I want to encourage you to comment, engage, share our videos, and thank you for forever watching our podcast and listening to the podcast. Till next time.
Till next time.
Thank you.